My name is Debbie Vadho.
Hello, my name is Wendell Smoot.
My name is Mauricio Vega.
Hi, I'm Lori Calder.
Hi, my name is Alberto Grossman.
My name is Via Udenas.
I serve on the board of directors for the Conflict Resolution Center in Montgomery County, and I've been on the board for 5 years now.
Thank you, Debbie. So just want to ask you today, what motivated you to support our Conflict Resolution Center, and what aspects of our mission resonate with you personally?
Well, I grew up in Montgomery County up until I graduated from high school, and then moved back to Montgomery County in 2017. So very familiar with the community, and CRCMC really resonated with me, their mission about conflict resolution and peaceful mediation. I feel like that's a very important thing that we need in today's society. I see it every day in the work that I do. I work with refugees and conflict and violence, and I feel that their mission is really critical to fostering better communities.
Our donors are an essential part of our mission, and so what would you say to others that might be considering supporting our center, and how would you encourage them to get involved?
I feel like CRCMC is a hidden gem, and I really believe the money that you give to this organization is put to use right away. The impact is tremendous throughout the community, all the way from youth to older adults to your neighbors to small businesses. I really feel like you can see the impact everywhere in Montgomery County, whether it's right there front and center or behind the scenes.
And from January to April is tax season, and I've been a tax pro for over 20 years, but I've been always wanting to volunteer at CRCMC. So I decided to say, okay, the training was in January for the mediation training. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to go to block right now, I'm just going to do the training. So that's how I was born. I got to be a mediator back in 2012. And shortly after that, I guess, I was doing all types of mediations, family, landlord, tenant, small claims, etc. I became a board member. And my first office was secretary. And shortly after that, I became president. And to make a long story short, I've been president 3 times. So, 2 times with co-presidents and 1 kind of on my own. How do I feel about CRCMC? I think my record speaks for itself. I'm compassionate as far as helping people. I enjoy the camaraderie that CRC presents. In my mind, it is the best mediation center in the state of Maryland. The executive director and past executive directors have been fantastic. And I would recommend anyone, if they're looking for somewhere or something to do as a volunteer, I would steer them to CRCMC, which I have done. So to me, being a volunteer or staff with CRCMC, to include AmeriCorps, I think would be a wonderful opportunity for anyone, and I encourage you to look into that opportunity. With that being said, I will continue being a volunteer with CRCMC in some capacity, and I look forward to working with CRCMC.
I'm a volunteer here at the Criminal Center. It's something I really enjoy, it's very passionate about. Something I think the community should get involved in. The ability to go out and help others is very fulfilling and self-rewarding. I believe that anyone who actually takes the time to listen to someone understands that most of us just need that moment to listen to be able to process what we're going through. And if you think that you have these qualities, that you'd be great at being a volunteer.
So what inspired you to consider volunteering with our Conflict Resolution Center, and how do you envision contributing to our mission?
Okay, well, I used to be a practicing lawyer, and I was involved in some very contentious cases where people were just sort of fighting to win, and over time I I thought that it was sort of a waste of a lot of time and money. So after retiring for a number of years, I learned about the mediation process, and I thought that's exactly what we need in a lot of these situations. So I signed up, and I found it to be everything I'd hoped it would be.
Thank you. In your own words, why is conflict resolution essential, especially in today's society?
Well, I think if anyone who turns on the TV or looks at a newspaper will notice that we have a lot of division going on right now, and I think a lot of people have settled into their own camps. And I'm hopeful that the mediation process gets people talking to each other a little bit, because I think that's what Americans need to start, everyone around the world needs to do. So I think that mediation is a small step to bring us closer together again.
I'm here with CRICMIC, the Conflict Resolution Center of Montgomery County. I have been with CRICMIC for 6 years as a mediator, bilingual mediator, and I'm glad to be here helping other people and helping myself. I will explain why.
Our volunteers become ambassadors of peace. How would you inspire others in your community to get involved with our mission and support conflict resolution efforts?
If you come to the table and you understand what we are doing with mediation, you will see that we have a very deep, very profound insertion into the conflicts of people, and how a method that we bring, which is the mediation, can bring them together. So I have found wonderful opportunities of bringing people together, and with people being grateful of what we have done during the mediation time. We have tremendous amount of appreciation on what we do, because we are doing good for people, and people appreciate that a lot.
Conflict resolution often requires patience and perseverance. Can you describe a situation where you had to stay committed to a resolution process even when it was challenging?
We have many opportunities where we have to be committed. Some, you know that every session is about 2 hours. In one case, which was a parenting plan, is one of the training that I have taken, we have to go to 6 sessions. Very high level, and luckily we could resolve some of the issues that they had. In other cases, we have a succession, not the movie, as a succession on a farm, how to preserve the ownership of that farm. It was one issue is more interesting than the other, and sometimes I get stuck with them saying, there is so much that good that we are doing for people here, bringing that discussion together and bringing that space of dialogue, listening one to each other, that is so valuable for people that they decide to come to the mediation. Bottom line, when people decide to sit down across the hall in a mediation, 80% of the work is done, because that's the will of negotiate, of listening, of being part of that, and they understand that our role as facilitators to bring them to speak with these very simple rules works very well.
Hi, I'm Dan Max. I'm co-president of the board. I've been a member of the board for a few years now.
How do you envision a community that embraces effective conflict resolution, and what role do you see our center in achieving that vision?
Well, I think conflict resolution is so important for any community. I think everybody knows the level of intensity of debate and division in our community has been, or at least feels like it's at an all-time high. And I think the conflict resolution process that CRCMC encourages and promotes would just help take things down a notch or 2 or 3, and hopefully more. I think that's so important for everyone in terms of their everyday lives and their mental health too.
Our donors are an essential part of our mission. What would you say to others who may be considering supporting our center, and how would you encourage them to get involved?
I think our center does so much great work, whether it's in the schools, landlord-tenant, other commercial aspects, family matters. There's so many different elements of folks' everyday life that CRCMC helps and kind of promotes the health of all of these relationships. And so I think to folks who are thinking about getting involved, it's just they'd be getting involved in a very important organization that's very well run. Our executive director is really one of the best and he's kind of the lifeblood of the organization. I can't say enough good things about him. So when you get involved with CRCMC, you're helping a really high quality organization.
My name is Tom Joseph. I am a volunteer mediator at CRCMC. I have been volunteering here for about 6 years now, and needless to say, it's been quite enjoyable as far as my experiences so far.
What inspired you to consider volunteering with our Conflict Resolution Center, and how do you envision contributing to our mission?
Well, the interesting thing for me is that I'm retired, and when I was looking around for opportunities during my retirement, I found out about mediation, and frankly, I chose it as one of my volunteer activities because it happened to be the one that I was least familiar with. So I took it on as a challenge. My other activities are more related to what I did during my professional and personal life, and so this was a change for me, and although it has been a challenge, it's been very rewarding. I'm sure that most reflections that volunteers give have to do with the idea of giving back, of volunteering our time in a manner that benefits the community, and that's certainly part of the reason why I've done it. Regarding the role of CRCMC as a nonprofit being free for the community, I think the obvious benefit to all is to help free up the court system, to benefit the entire community, to make it more accessible to our residents who maybe don't have the means or the opportunity to go the traditional route, which is through the courts. And I think CRCMC is very active, as I understand it, compared to other similar organizations. We have one of the strongest programs here in the state of Maryland, which is, as a Montgomery County resident myself, is something that I'm very happy.
In your own words, why is conflict resolution essential today?
Well, I think that the challenges that we have traditionally had with the relationship between the government activities and private residents just intensifies as we become more complex. There are outside influences. The diversity of our county is certainly something that we both benefit from and also find challenges for. Is obviously, I believe, essential more than it ever has been.
What inspired you to consider volunteering with our Conflict Resolution Center, and how do you envision contributing to our mission?
CRCMC was recommended to me by Tim Stranges, who I trained for mediation at the university, and he suggested it was a really good way to take my training and to provide something to the community. I thought it was a wonderful opportunity to return something to Montgomery County, where I've lived for so many years. And I firmly believe in the process of mediation and the opportunity it provides for the people or the participants in mediation to really determine the outcome of their dilemma.
In your own words, why is conflict resolution essential, especially in today's society?
Our society is in such conflict right now, from individuals, neighborhoods, countries, and continents. We really need to find a way to find less trauma, less anger, less animosity. And mediation is highly preferred, where someone can really express their fears, their traumas, and if the other party listens, we can hear and help each other. I think CRICMA can do that for Montgomery County. I've lived here for many, many years, and I really believe that we just need to listen to the other person and respond to them, and then understand that they will listen to us at the same time. It's the moment of, I firmly believe in about 40 minutes in, after people start sitting down and listening to the other person, that's when they say, oh, and they respond with something else, and the conversation just keeps coming and coming. And that's, you were there. I, as the mediator, asked the question so that they could start talking. And then I just sat back and they talked, and I don't know, 20 minutes later, they had an agreement. And the 2 hours were not over yet. I mean, they really came to it. But it was just asking the question and letting them talk. And
See?
that's really what it is, yeah.